Hi, this is the third training in the Porter Process sessions. In this training, I'm going to take you through the 5 steps of the Porter Process. You need to know what these are. When you read the book sections, it will explain them much more. So this is just an introduction to the 5 steps. And later on, I will be showing you how you can guide parents through the 5 steps. So the first step is just to give you a little bit of the background. Okay, the Porter Process has been a long time being created. It's after I was working one-on-one with many parents, I suddenly began to realize I had a system, I had a process that I was taking the parents through. And I gradually refined this process until I've come down to these 5 steps. And these 5 steps I want you to consider as guidelines when working with parents. Sometimes you will be working with them directly, sometimes you will just be using them in the background of your work with parents. And some parents go through these steps very quickly, some need a lot of help going through them. But each step is critical to the overall result. So it's important that you don't move on to the next step until you have come to some kind of conclusion and some kind of awareness of the step that you're working on. This is the Porter Process in a nutshell. There's 5 steps. The first one is to set a destination. It's no good trying to move along a road if you don't know where you're going. You're never going to get where you need to go. The second one is to discover a child's learning need. What does the child need to learn? This is a critical part of the whole Porter Process. If we don't know what the child needs to learn, how can we help the child in any way? And sometimes what the child needs to learn is not what parents think it is. This is why the diagnostic assessment process is so important. And as you read the Porter Process book section, you will see that there are 3 learning needs there. Once you've discovered what the child needs, then you have to choose strategies that are going to meet those needs. And that is step 3. That is when you look at all the strategies that are in the PDFs from the last session and in the strategies section of the book that you got in the last section. Then you go to the particular skill that needs developing and work out which strategies to choose. Or if there's more than one skill, you have to choose the most important skills from both of the skills that you're looking at. Or if you're looking at learning preferences, you have to look at strategies there that parents and students can use. But that in itself, while incredibly important, isn't enough. The 4th step is where parents actually take action. This is where they match the strategies to the learning goal. So they take a strategy that they've chosen in step 3 and they alter it and adapt it, or you help them alter it and adapt it so that it meets their learning goal. This is where your skill comes in helping parents really adapt the strategies to meet their specific needs. And the last step is to celebrate success. Parents don't often do this, unfortunately. To review the process, what worked and what didn't work, and then to renew, to start again, maybe with a different learning goal, and go through the same process again. It might take a while for parents to do this, but that's what can happen. So the first step is to set the destination. This can be very difficult with parents. They tend to have very vague ideas about what they want. They want their child to do better in school or to focus more, or they're just worried about their child. You have to really help them set a destination, and as specific as possible. The tighter that destination can be, the more chance you have of helping parents and children achieve that goal. Some parents find setting a specific goal very difficult. There are two strategies in the Porter process that you can use to work with parents to help them set a goal. And I recommend that you read them and work through them. Once you've got a learning goal, then you have to discover what the child needs to learn. And this is the discovery process. This is the assessment process. Parents have started that first, but you have to take them back to step one, and then you can talk to them about the learning need when you have the results of the assessment process. And the learning need comes in one of three areas. It's learning how to learn, making school make sense, or moving to mastery. And the results from the diagnostic assessment and the results from the questions which are in step 2 of the Porter process will help you define what the child's learning need is. Once you know what the child's learning need is, then you can move on to step 3. Step 3 is choosing the strategies that you're going to need to help these children learn. Go to the book, look at the strategies section under each learning need, work out which group of strategies is going to be useful for your parents and your child, and concentrate on those. Think about those. Think about which of those strategies the parents would like to use. Then step 4, as I mentioned earlier, is to match the strategies to the learning goal. This is where you have to be creative. I can't help you with this. You have to, I don't know the learning goal, and I don't know the learning needs. So it's a process of bringing together the learning goal and the learning needs and your chosen strategies to really come down to some specific action, really specific action that parents can take. Parents often need a lot of help with this, and sometimes the strategies that you're offering here seem very simple, but often they're difficult for parents and you have to walk them through them. Then you come to step 5. This normally happens a couple of weeks after step 4, and you check in with the parent, you celebrate what successes have happened. If you have done a good job in the first 4 steps, you'll be amazed at the difference it makes and the successes that parents and children report back. But then you review the process, what worked best and what didn't, and you talk about the next stage, the next learning goal, and offer to help the parents through that process as well. So that is the Porter process, 5 steps leading to success. The steps themselves are fairly straightforward. The process of doing each step can be simple or it can be more complicated depending on the child's needs and the parent's ability to communicate the child's needs and your ability to communicate with the parent. So by now you should have the background of the Porter process. This is what I need you to do. I need you to review the free report. This is a report that's going to parents. It's going to be called the Porter process. And I want you to read the book section that describes the 5 steps in detail. Remember, this is written for parents to work through on their own. So I don't necessarily expect you to work through the steps word for word like as they are described in the book, but you do need to know and understand the process. When you've done that, you will have the background of the whole of the work that you're going to do. You will have why it was started, the importance of this work, okay, the information and the resource base that you're going to need to use. That was in the second training session, and this overview of the Porter process. So there's a lot of information in these 3 sessions. I want you to review it, please, because what is going to happen before you move on to the next section is there's going to be some kind of evaluation. It's going to be a formative evaluation. I need to know that you have understood this information and that you have understood the process and the importance of what you will be doing, the work you will be doing with parents. So that will be coming next. After this section, the next section, we will actually start into how you work with parents. And this gets really interesting. So thank you very much, and please do your homework.